Well, yes, I can see how that would be important.
So, here we are. I don't really know where this is, but
Yes, here you are, your own special little section of my campaign file. I made just for you, but assets may be reused.
this is our wonderful texture.
I don't know about that.
It's because
Yes,
we're a team, Leon. Or Arthur. Should I call you Arthur? I guess I'll call you Arthur.
yes. I don't, the group hasn't decided how much time they want to pass, unless you guys decided without me noticing.
I don't think so, but let's see how long this takes and go from there.
Yes. So, I won't know the specifics, and you two are pretty flexible to roleplay as your heart's desire. What I'll do for you here at the start is set up a scene for you, and you can go from there. So cold. The ruined streets of Drakenhall are covered in dazzling sheets of ice. The frosty air greedily consumes your heat, swaddling you within deadly blankets. This is a temperature you've only read about in stories of life beyond the Dragon Empire, away from the temperate Midland Sea. An unbidden question rises in your minds as you step outside into the biting wind. How many people will die because of this winter? There's your scene.
Well, that's glum. And Huron probably isn't in a very good mood. Yeah, he's grumpy, his head hurts. The world's against him, everything's terrible.
I suppose I should note this as well, because I thought about this earlier, and this is most certainly something that you folks would experience, particularly today. One of the advantages the space possesses is that the extra dimensional environment exists outside of the norms of expected temperature. As in, whenever you are inside the space, temperate climate, effectively, and it's only whenever you open the door to the outside that you're hit by the winter. So you don't have to worry about warming up this one-story stone building with no chimney or effectively any outside access except for the door. It stays at a decent temperature, a comfortable living temperature. It's only when you come out here that you're greeted with death, which means that you have to adjust, but you don't have to worry about keeping warm when you're inside.
Said Dwohurim. You had to pick today of all days, didn't you?
Yes, I would have gladly gone before, but we've kind of been busy all this time. Oh, let's see. No map around here. So, I suppose we'll go to where we think an alchemist would be. In the city.
It's huge. Where the hell do you think we're going to find one?
The Goblin Market would be certainly a place where we should be able to buy pretty much anything, as long as we can seek out what we want. I also remember there were some streets along the Beast Market where there were some sort of magical and alchemical practitioners. Close to Crazy Street.
I guess we should probably check there first, considering the Goblin Market will be even colder at night.
Yes, the Goblin Market does not open until nightfall.
Yeah, and then, you know.
And I don't really want to be out here at night if I can help it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we'll set the direction towards the Beast Market. We've gone there before. We can probably find the place from there.
Okay. Yes, you have been there before. It's a slow, cautious trek. You're in near whiteout conditions here. It's only just due to the bizarre scenery of Drakenhall that you're able to find your locations and pinpoint yourselves rather easily. There's a great landmark, the Tower of the Blue, which sticks out even in the snow. It seems that the Tower of the Blue doesn't have much of a problem and doesn't really get covered much by snow or ice. Always a pinnacle there, a warm beacon to guide the denizens of Drakenhall. And perhaps there's also a small mercy that due to the extreme temperatures, there's perhaps not that many people who are interested and poking at you. You undoubtedly encounter individuals who are huddled together for warmth around fires, burning debris, probably burning dead people, burning ragged remnants of wood, this sort of frayed belongings. Not that much interest in you two as you make your way out of the ruins, perhaps following the main road for a landmark as well, heading towards the beast market, which is dull at the moment and not seeing much in the way of activity. Due to the abnormal temperatures, you imagine, there's not that much interest today in the beast markets, and in fact, many of the pins and stalls don't even have occupants, as if those who would peddle their valuable wares did not even see fit to set them out for the day. Perhaps merchants are treating this sort of like a holiday.
Damn it. Oh well. Suppose we'll go in the direction of that street with all the crazy people and try to look for. I mean, people do advertise their stores, I imagine, so it probably wouldn't be too hard to find an alchemy store in the area where people sort of would expect to look for them.
Okay.
Look for signs and the like.
You two gonna keep to yourselves as you venture towards Batman's Alley?
For now, I think we don't. I mean, unless we see someone who seems non-threatening, which I don't really imagine.
Leon does not particularly want to talk to anyone in Madman's Alley, but
It's hard to gauge who might be threatening or not.
Right.
He'll follow Dwohurim.
Perhaps the dozen or so goblins huddled by the barrel on fire for warmth. Perhaps they're nice, but it's difficult to say.
Well, we can certainly go and ask them where we would find an alchemist.
Well, that was just like a suggestion sort of thing. You're certainly encountering people who are like on the streets. There's number of homeless here, and they are huddled together for warmth everywhere within Blue City. The great fires, lots of plumes of smoke rising up from the City of Monsters, just due to monstrous races who are huddled together, because in these extreme conditions, they're able to put their some higher motivations aside and stick to survival.
Any sweets around like that?
Not so much in this area, no. Dwohurim would know, basically, just from, now, speaking with Gen Zeros, and just the limited time that he's spent here in general, sweets, if they're actually going to stick within Drakenhall, stick close to the southern stretches. There's the Saltside District, but they mostly like to harbor around the Sweet Hall tenement building with the Rack Tavern that's next door to it, and within that area. They are dispersed out throughout Blue City, but in the northern areas, that's more of a monstrous race location. So you see few individuals who are like you.
Well, alright, well, let's find someone who's smaller than us at least. Goblins, so. There might be one sort of looking annoyedly at something outside of a place, trying to shovel the snow away from the door.
Just because it's a goblin doesn't mean it's not dangerous.
No, it certainly doesn't. But,
yes, you can certainly accost a goblin who might, say, be shoveling snow in front of his hovel, his little wooden structure. We'll go ahead and do that then. Goblin, much smaller than Dwohurim, mumbling to himself, "Snow probably caused by dragon. I hope I don't have to go in today."
Sort of walk up to him. It's nice weather.
The goblin quickly pivots, sizes you up, realizes he probably couldn't take you in a fight. Yes.
I need to find an alchemist. You know where one would be.
Well, best place for you sweets is, the rack. You find whatever you want there.
No, I need a real alchemist.
I don't really. I'm a rat catcher. I don't really do alchemy. No,
Sasbury.
He, like, shuffles from, like, one foot to the other nervously.
the rack. That's the best place. You get whatever you want there, sweet. Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't know of any around here, then.
I catch rats. I don't do alchemy. It's bad for you. Make food taste funny.
So if I had a drug problem, where would we go?
Oh, I'm sure you could get drugs at the rack, too. Mm-hmm. Get drugs everywhere.
Racist. Go find someone else.
The pattern continues as you continue to ask, say, individuals who might be smaller than you and on their lonesome, asking them for alchemists. People, at least the individuals you would speak with in general, like you're referred to, like, say, the Goblin Market. Always going to be tons of individuals there. Got to be alchemy for you no matter what. Like, you're going to find someone who will help you for sure. Due to your racial makeup, you'll also be referred to the southern areas, Sweet Hall, the Rack in particular, since that's a tavern which is known for its ability to, basically, if you want something, you can go there and probably get information on what it is that you're looking for. The Rack, of course, was once a torture and interrogation building built by the Ministry of Order, but it was renovated into a tavern for suites such as yourselves. You get like a few suggestions for Bad Man's Alley. Nothing really comes up that way. There is, however, as you are sifting your way through, because you're heading in Madman's Alley, going through all these monstrous races, if I can ever trying to get individuals to ask you questions, that you do end up encountering an individual who is, in fact, a sweet, like yourselves, walking along the stone road. She is wearing a red cloak, and perhaps she's not the best clad for this weather, though she does not seem overly bothered by the extreme cold. Green eyes peer from the shadow of her hood. She's slight, not much taller than Dwohurim, and certainly much thinner. She doesn't have much meat on her bones at all. She has a fair complexion, perhaps in her 20s or 30s, with slightly pointed ears. Full lips curl back in an easy smile as she looks at you, but her cold gaze belies her friendliness. Perhaps wary of any travelers on the road in Drakenhall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although if she's a young woman traveling alone, she probably has some sort of defensive. She's pretty assumed. You will step forward. Excuse me, my lady. Would you perhaps point me towards an alchemist?
An alchemist? Dark, roll a d6 for me. Manikai, roll 2d6. Separate them. Okay. As Dwohurim draws closer to the stranger, he catches a whiff of a pungent odor emanating from her. It's a brief flashback to time spent in Horizon. Just the amount of alchemical reagents that would be gathered together in a particular room. It could leave like a residue, like in the clothes. It's sort of like how cigarette smoke can carry with you on a person, such as what Dwohurim smells on her. Like she handles herbs, or at least is someone who's been around a lot of herbs quite a bit. The individual looks at you and says, "You're looking for an alchemist? I know a reliable one, but it is a bit of a walk from here. Her home is in the Rubbleton neighborhood, known for its gilded street lamps. It's a bit east of Sweet Hall, if you've been in that area. You'll know her house when you see it. It has a chimney.
Thank you very much, then. Where may you be heading so alone on this cold day?
I have business to attend to, which cannot wait for conditions to improve. Not like they appear to be doing so anytime soon.
Very well, then. Here we'll try to admit her, sort of her face to memory.
All right. You can certainly do so. She's not a remarkable face, but features are distinguishable enough.
I'll tip his hood to her, and then I suppose begin trudging in the direction of the place she mentioned.
Okay. She will walk past and continue down the street. Let's see, you guys being by the Beast Market heading towards Madman's Alley, you're going to effectively have to go around the Blue Tower. It's going to be another, say, 90 minutes trudging through, maybe even 2 hours, just due to the snow and ice making for treacherous traveling conditions, yes. And while there are a number of fires that you can stop by to warm yourselves, it is, like, I have personally, as a GM, never lived in temperatures as cold as I am attempting to describe to you right now.
I will say, most certainly, Leon probably has his wool blanket out and wrapped around to his
And these are temperatures which, as noted in the setting the scene description, they're unheard of in your lifetimes. You know, you might have traveled away, you know, in your biographies, like away from the Midland Sea into like the northern or, you know, western.
I came from a mountain that was covered in snow constantly. But,
southern stretches of the Empire. It stays pretty warm around the Midland Sea, although it will snow on occasion. This is colder than you've experienced within this area in your lifetimes.
Yeah, definitely got that blanket wrapped around me.
good thing we saved that orb of storms, or, you know, surely that's not the case.
There's that. Of course, Leon, if he so chose, could wave his hand with some resist energy and not have a problem with the temperatures, as, you know, they are not of a magical nature.
Only lost 5 minutes, though. 5 minutes is not enough.
Can make sparks on a torch, too.
I have a fire spell,
like
technically.
a little bit of a fire to walk around with.
Yes, carrying around any heat source is certainly recommended.
Yeah.
As the frost nips at your noses.
You can use it. We can use a torch. Yeah.
There is no need for you to make any checks to try and find the neighborhood. The landmarks, it's fairly simple enough, especially if you head towards the Sweet Hall area. You can tell just by building design and by the composition of individuals who are out on the streets. Not necessarily by choice so much as, you look at their ramshackle, like, wooden homes or stone buildings, and they really can't hold that much heat, and people are just staying together for warmth. Travel, as such, is quicker in that regard, in that you don't have to worry about so many people on the roads. However, there is the ice and snow to contend with. Eventually, you, true to the stranger's word, you find Rubbleton. It's a can't-miss neighborhood, although the lampposts are nearly blinding in the brilliant rays of the sun. As the stranger mentioned it, they are gilded. Squinting ahead, you scan for the building with a chimney, and you eventually stop at an unremarkable stone building with 3 steps leading up to an oaken door. Smoke curls from the roof. This must be the place.
At least it seems like someone's home.
Hopefully we can get out of this damn cold.
Walk up to the door, and if there's like a handle or something, you can knock.
Yes. As you draw closer to it, Leon notices, and these are very faint, and with the whiteout conditions, they are difficult to discern. Leon notices a series of runes etched along the edge of the building, sort of like right below the roof, which remind him of Horizon, and that they appear to be runes which indicate a ritual to prevent scrying attempts on those who are within the building. Any attempts to divine the occupant.
This is a secure building.
I would hope so. They have a business in this place.
I haven't seen a place warded against like this except it's the horizon.
There is no signage to denote that this would be like an alchemist shop. It does appear to be just be like a home or some shit.
Oh.
Dwohurim knocks, and you hear a coming from the other end of the door, and then soft footsteps. Stepping, or rather, reaching the door, it opens, and you're greeted with black, well-groomed hair. Reveals a handsome, radiant face. Glinting gray eyes, set concealed within their sockets, warily scan you for danger. She's wearing a hot mess, a flimsy outfit of clashing colors, and her clothes do little to hide her delicate frame. There's something charming about her, perhaps the elegance typical of high elves, but her melodious voice carries the cold weight of steel. She looks at you, looks at Leon behind Dwohurim, and says, I don't want any. I'm sure you're nice people, but she like slowly tries to edge the door closed.
Sort of moves the foot slightly. And said, "Oh, just, we were recommended this place. A woman in a red cloak."
Oh. Well, it wouldn't do well for you two to stand out here. Come on inside. She jerks her head.
Oh, you're welcome inside. Before, just shake his shoulders slightly to get some of all the snow that's sort of covering him off.
Okay.
Yeah, Leon will try and get some
Raven
stuff
stayed
behind
home
it.
a day today.
Stepping into the stone building, you're hit by an almost nauseating smell. Redolent herbs hang from drying racks, their pervasive odors filling every crevice of the house. You're led through a grubby kitchen and to a cramped room which sees far more use. One bookshelf stands against the wall, stuffed with frayed volumes and abstruse papers. The alchemist, who introduces herself as Ali, gestures towards the chairs, crammed with possibly unsafe reagents. Please seat yourselves.
Sure.
Leon will try and take a seat, trying to make sure there's nothing too unsafe. I mean, he doesn't understand all of this, so it's like
Move whatever's on the chair.
trying to move whatever is to the side.
Sure, you can find room for it on the floor. Pay
Yeah,
no
don't-
attention to the fact that you're in some giant Jack and the Giant Slayer like story with the chairs so massive.
Yeah. This
There you
chair's
go.
too soft. This chair's too hot. This one's
chair's too
just
cold.
right.
There you go.
Giant Leon.
Ollie will brush her hands off and reach for a sheaf of papers, which she puts on her lap. She sits on her table and she looks at you two. So why are you here?
It says, some time ago we had an encounter with a particular magical sort. We ingested a brew without fully knowing the consequences. Now we are suffering these consequences and we would like them to end.
All right. She starts etching notes. Describe your symptoms.
It says, incredible headaches, constant dreams that attempt to force me to do things I do not want to do. In addition to this, I feel weaker. I feel more irritable. And I have a very, very hard time concentrating or even seeing clearly at a distance. My vision gets blurry.
All right.
Leon seemingly not want to say anything for a second, but looks and with a bit of a sigh. Similar to his, though actually mostly just the dreams and then some physical fatigue.
Alright. Similar, but not the same.
Weaker, it seems.
Okay. When did you first come in contact with this? How long ago? And GM-wise, it's been almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. It's only gotten worse. I hoped it would wear off over time.
Almost 2 months. How much of this did you consume?
1 cup.
She looks at Leon.
We'll nod to that. Won't say any more.
1 cup 2 months ago. You've had no other encounters or experiences with this?
No. The symptoms, however, were faint at the beginning. At first, they were actually rather exhilarating, granting great intelligence and such. However, now it has regressed to this state, and I fear it will only get worse.
Yes, having waited so long, that's rather dire indeed. Beneficial, it is not abnormal for drugs, concoctions that alter your mind and body to exhibit beneficial effects. Which is part of why people are so interested in taking them now. She licks the tip of her pen and dips it into her ink and keeps scratching on the paper. Right, now, in order for me to properly identify this, who was the individual who gave this? Like, did you find it in a cave? Did you find it in a living dungeon? Did you find it... She trails off.
Offered it by an experiment, by a spellcaster, experimenting in the arts of the undead.
Oh. Region of the Empire.
Sort of nods. Yes.
No, region, like where in the Empire?
Oh.
Glitterhead?
Around Newport.
Newport, okay. Describe the substance to me.
Sure, we'll describe it as he remembers it.
Okay. She finishes writing that down. Hold on. And then she sets her quill down and begins like fumbling through her papers. No, wasn't there a... Yes, I was this by chance near the town of Fog Haven?
Oh yes, it was.
Was the caster in question an experimentalist who, capable of necromancy, you say, Ursilia Melkor?
Sure, nods.
You are not the first to come to me with this. There was an individual before you some weeks ago who made his way to my doorstep, a poor frail thing, a bit cute, however, seeking help for his condition.
Yes, I believe we know him.
Oh. Without me having described him to you at all, I see. Did he... No, you did not say he was the one who recommended you to me. Yes, you
We
are
have not seen
the
him
only
for some
ones.
time, but we encountered him in Farkhaven, and he seemed to have, some problems.
The timings would line up. Simple enough.
Yes, I attempted to help him as best I could. It is somewhat difficult for me to wave away your problems. The problems are multifold, you see. She looks up from her papers. First off, I was not able to acquire an example of the substance that he consumed from him. I imagine that he drank whatever he did in his rush to get more, and it was barely by remnants of willpower that he was able to even come to me at all for aid. Without the substance you've consumed, I am unable to study it completely, so I am unable to provide an exact cure for whatever it is that ails you. I can attempt to study you. He was not too interested in me running my battery of, Her lips twitch in what might be a fiendish grin. My evaluations as thoroughly as I would like. Not that I could blame him, I suppose, but he was the one who was having trouble. That being said, without the substance in question, do either of you have it by chance?
Grim looks to Leon.
No, I wish I did take an extra sample.
Oh, that is dreadful. But perhaps for the best, if you are experiencing the symptoms that you are, you probably would have consumed it already. As you say, though, just the one time, 2 months ago, rather strong and potent substance, you said that it had some benefit for you. I did a little bit of looking into this Ursilia Melkor, dug a bit through my contacts that still exist in Horizon. Now, she is reputed for being a lich. One that is in such a difficult position that it's seen as unwise to try to remove her from, particularly given her affiliations with what was his name? She starts digging through her notes. Yes. Lady Ursilia Melkor, Baroness of Blood, underling of Lord Zarza, Viscount of Wrath, Marquis of Secrets.
Visible shudder in Leon for a second.
Grim sort of continues to look sort of pained because of his headache.
She doesn't notice Leon shudder. She's still, looking at her notes. Yes, I do believe that is right. Experiment, I am sure, designed to further the purposes of Lord Zarza. For what purposes, I'm not entirely sure. I have some interest in acquiring the substance. You do not have it. I was able to dismiss what plagued the gentleman who visited me earlier, and I do believe he was even cured of his ailment. I am a bit short, however, on reagents. I can attempt to remedy your problems. However, I have to work with substitutes. There is a suitably powerful reagent that I am lacking, which could indeed, I think, cure your ailments, but you would have to fetch it.
From where?
She looks up from the papers. She eyes the alchemical equipment behind her because she's sitting on her table. She says, well, I can remedy your pains temporarily and perhaps give your bodies the push to shake free of this. But if you want the best cure I could provide in a quick fashion, without being able to study what you consumed, and without taking an undue amount of time, particularly what with lich whispers being burrowed in your head, you would have to find... How do I put this delicately? There are dragonkin in this world. Very rare dragonkin, who have the ability to shapeshift into forms like ours. I need their scales. Not their entire body. I'd say about a dozen scales would do. They possess eldritch capabilities that I can use to refine my current inventory into what would be suitable for you to shake free of your afflictions. Unfortunately, given their incredible rarity, I only really know of one, and I'm not too sure how well you can access her, given the fact that she is the head of the Scarlet Serpents. You might be familiar with the name?
Yes, and I've already thought of that person the moment you mentioned this dragonkin.
Exactly.
Yes. Scarlet Serpents, I will remind, are a renowned gang, proficient in assassination. They've done a lot of bloody business. I most certainly do not wish to be in their way, and I would not want this to get back to me at all. However, if you are seeking a cure for your afflictions, that is the best that I could provide you, and I dare say anyone could provide you on such short notice. It is good for you to have come to me, after all, given that this is an alchemically caused process, induced in your bodies, meant undoubtedly to subdue you to the will of not just the Baroness of Blood, but... what was it? And she starts sifting through her papers again. Yes, the Viscount of Wrath, Marquis of Secrets.
So it's nonsense. I suppose then that you could give us something to remedy the effects until we acquire these scales. I might need my full prowess to do so.
Yes, I can provide such a thing. There's no guarantee it'll work on you, and there are a few side effects if you see fuzzy butterflies flying about your head. Do not worry, that's part of it.
As long as I can... As long as it's better than this. Little mumbles.
She, flips to another page. Anything special about this? The more information I know, the more I can perhaps help others who might be afflicted by this and are seeking help. You surely aren't the only ones to have drunk this.
Physical and mental fatigue. Inability to see, blurry vision. Voices in my head, inability to concentrate.
All right. And you, honey? She looks over at Leon.
I don't know if I have anything particularly more than he does. I seem to take it quite lightly in comparison.
All right. Well, I will get to work here. You two just sit right there. Oh, the first thing I'll need you to do, she actually pulls out 2 small vials, fills them with water. I need each of you to drink, to put this in your mouths, and then, without drinking it or swallowing it, spit it back into the vials.
All right.
She'll hand you each the vial of water.
Sure. I'll do that.
Leon clearly quite discomforted by this, but we'll do it.
She knows about the process. She doesn't harass you folks anymore. She does put a hand on shoulder occasionally. She doesn't really try to describe the process that she's doing. She makes a half-hearted attempt at it, and then she falls silent, like she's having the rest of the conversation in her head. Perhaps not that much of a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Eventually, however, from those vials, those same vials where the water was, through a mixture of, if you had to guess, and you're pretty sure that the labels aren't lying, it's a mixture of, you do have some herbs. You also have null urine. You also have a bit of, maybe you shouldn't say that one in polite company. That being said, she does manage to come up with concoctions for the 2 of you to drink. Says, now, you might feel a little sleepy after you drink these, and if need be, you can sleep on my floor. Especially given how cold it is. I'd hate for you to travel in these conditions. But this should at least aid you in what it is that you're hoping to do.
Leon's vision just looks at Dwohurim.
Looks at the end and says, let me drink it first.
I think that's for the best.
You're going to watch over me while I sleep. I'll drink the concoction.
Okay. Roll me a d20, Manikai. Okay. The symptoms Dwohurim is experiencing are suppressed until the next full heal up. You still have the penalty to your intelligence, but you don't have a penalty to your defenses. You don't have a penalty to attacking faraway targets. You can attack faraway targets. Furthermore, the next time you make a Constitution skill check to save against the addiction, you'll receive a +5 bonus.
All right.
There appears to be a drawback of mild hallucinogens. Not enough to cause any penalties, but Dwohurim is, given how intelligent he is, with his sharpened insight, since he's no longer in so much pain, thinks that there's probably a narcotic in here, and combine that with some other concoctions to make him feel real happy and at peace. And so he's seeing fuzzy butterflies, as she described.
Sure. Well, he probably deserves that after all this pain. Does he fall asleep? Is this a thing? It's gonna rob us while we sleep?
It doesn't force you to fall asleep.
No. He will certainly sort of try to stay awake for Leon's sake, and not to Leon that he does feel better.
Leon will look at the vial, look over all the stuff she was mixing together on the side.
And you too, cutie. She smiles at you.
Grimace.
Looks at him and says, "You've had worse, right?"
I've definitely had worse, but doesn't mean I gotta enjoy it.
So you will.
Very grimacing as he... we'll drink it. Would you like a DC 20? Roll
Yes,
20.
I want you to roll a d20. Same number, same result.
That's 5 bonus, and remove that -2.
Well, look to the other. And I assume, of course, that you would want some sort of payment.
Oh, I would in almost every case. However, that won't be necessary for a cutie like him. And since you're his friend attached, we have the same interests and goals. Well, similar interests and goals.
I see. Would you be interested if we brought back more parts of such a Dragon Ball?
I would be indeed. It would help my research, and any way the Archmage can gain a stronger foothold here in Dragon Hall is certainly what's best for everyone. She flashes another ditzy-esque smile.
I was thinking that perhaps she already knows who we are. He'll just nod and say, "Yes, that is very true."
Sorry, I had to wait a second.
If there's anything you need to, that you would need, do say so.
No. Assuming your bodies can't shake it on your own, and that concoction I made for you has a very... Your body will build up a tolerance quickly to it. That's only going to work once. Your bodies can't shake it on your own, then what I'll need is just those scales from Dragonkin who can shapeshift into sweets like us. Very specific, but magic works how magic wants.
Yes.
She offers a coy shrug. Now you two must have been terribly desperate, given how you trudged, I imagine, such a great distance. You didn't come all the way from another city just to see me, did you?
No, we're staying here
Oh,
for some time.
all right.
looks at it and says, as it happens, I'm a shaper.
Oh. She, her face flashes in recognition. She looks at Dwohurim. Says, oh. Oh. That's who's traveling with the cutie, okay.
Leon is seemingly a little bit uncomfortable with this being called cutie.
Keeping our, sort of being around here discreet would be appreciated, though.
Yes. I can't imagine. And, well, I barely heard of it myself. And I only knew about him. And she points over at Leon. I certainly didn't know where you were, where to look for you.
Looks like there's some curiosity.
Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. She she pinches her fingers, puts them up to her lips, and mimes locking them.
Alright then.
You two gonna be able to make it back to where you're staying on your own? Wouldn't want anyone to take advantage of you in your condition. Streets out there are rather dangerous.
Because I think we will be alright. Until we, attempt to collect these scales, that is.
Yes, I haven't the foggiest how you go about doing it. My business really isn't in the whole... well... I guess I have an idea, but... you probably won't... I mean, I don't know whether it's accurate, but... suppose
Probably better than what we have at the moment.
Okay, so Scarlet Serpents only permit dragonkin, lizard folk, scaly individuals. It's part of their elitist sort of thing. Like how any other sort of race or whatever has their own thing. We elves, we have our own thing, right? Dragonkin, lizard folk, they want to have their own thing too. So, now, it's said... I don't know how accurate this is, but it's said that the Scarlet Serpents possess a means by which to transform sweets like us into scaly individuals, and that they actually recruit desperate humans, dwarves, elves, gnomes, whatever, into their gang to replenish their numbers. And should those individuals pass the initiation rites for the Scarlet Serpents, they are rewarded by being transformed into a thing of beauty that the blue, she wiggles her fingers, will recognize as not being as inferior. And so, you could possibly attempt to pass yourselves off as individuals who are interested in joining the Scarlet Serpents. The problem is that in order for you to get close enough to, I imagine, take scales off of Scarlet, you would have to go through the whole transformation process. I can cure that, but there might be a permanent side effect. I can definitely turn you back. You might have a tail or weird eyes or a claw or something. I can turn you back. Don't worry about that.
Frowns deeply.
Especially not your face. And she looks over at Leon and smiles.
Do you know where they stay?
Well, I know their neighborhood. I try to avoid that. I don't really go into the ruins. I can point it to you. I have a map of Drakenhall around here somewhere.
We have ways. I think we have ways of hearing and finding where they are.
Any information would be good, though.
She will actually hand you a tattered copy of a map that she has of Drakenhall. It's not detailed or specific at all. Basically looks like the overview map that I have you folks see. One that's drawn and provided by 13th Age. And she draws a small red circle and points an arrow to it and says, "That's where I know where the Scarlet Serpents are."
All right, then.
They have a decent-sized chunk, an entire neighborhood really to themselves in the ruins. And certainly there are individuals who challenge them, but due to their connections and due to their manpower, they stay pretty strong. I imagine the manpower thing could be solved if the rumor is true. It would be no wonder how they managed to acquire so many members to fill their ranks. They promise of greater power and recognition for the desperate, transform their bodies into a form more powerful. An opportunity. Perhaps what you two were looking for whenever you had a drink. Anyway, that's just my teensy idea. I mean, I might not know anything at all. I certainly don't try to associate with folks who would know something like that. Just a possible suggestion. I'm sure that you individuals can find your own way, perhaps even a better way, than trying to pass yourself off as people who want to join the Scarlet Serpents. But if you're looking to maybe not try to kick the door in, and certainly the Scarlet Serpents are rather powerful, might help you to try and work yourselves in intrigue fashion, assuming you can even hope to blend in and don't just stick out like a bunch of sore thumbs. Then again, you're in Dragonhall, a city of monsters. Everyone sticks out. Don't worry, though, I won't say a thing. And she mimes the locking her lips thing again.
I see.
And she
You will undoubtedly see us again.
She gives you an airy smile.
You will undoubtedly see us again. But I suppose we should be on the road. This thing, as you said, will only last once.
And we should probably
Wasting time would be foolish.
We should get back before the temperature drops any more.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I don't know how far it is that you're traveling, but with the way temperatures are getting, whew, I don't know. Makes me wonder whether the Blue's doing something, but I don't know whether the Blue would have much interest in freezing the whole damn world. Don't think she would. Besides, she's under magical geese anyway. I know the Archmage doesn't trust her, but she can't defy the will of the Dragon Empire. Probably.
Yes. Urim sort of frowns again as it stands up. So we have a lizard to catch.
She'll escort you two out. She'll walk behind Leon, and as she shows you the door, she'll actually reach down and pinch Leon's butt.
Leon will not say anything, clenching his teeth, just kind of, quickly moving out of the way, looking to her, trying to give a false smile as he leaves quickly.
She wiggles her fingers and closes the door behind you, leaving you again in the frosty streets of Drakenhall.
You know you could do worse, right?
Leon draws his blanket. I don't particularly... I'm not very interested right now.
Now, since we are so close to Sweet Hall, Rag, we might as well... There's a few questions I have to ask.
You looking for a drink?
No, I'm looking for who the Scarlet, whatever they're called, enemies are. Maybe a bit of collaboration could be done.
Perhaps. I don't know how many people in Sweet Hall would know what's going on in the ruins.
The Rag might.
If you're so interested, I'll come along.
Nice.
Leon just very... now annoyed about that and annoyed about the snow.
Yes. It's a
Hit
short
the Rag on our way home.
It's a short distance to the rack, out of the gilded street lamp, lined Rubbleton. As noted before, the rack was once an interrogation station built by the Ministry of Order, but it was turned into a drinking hall, and it's pretty much within the section which is most populated by humanoids, like yourselves. And certainly entering into this neighborhood, you can tell there is a sharp difference in population. The rack serves a mostly sweet clientele, and rumor goes that if you want to meet a man in a strangely memorable hat to tell you about an entryway into the dungeon, head to the rack. But try not to think too much about the old stains on its black-brown timber walls. The building is 2 stories, made out of timber. Smoke is coming from the building. Very hearty in there. Lots of roughhousing, raucous laughter, individuals playing cards and dice, huddled by fires as they are. And, you two walk your way in, and, conversation doesn't stop. You, as a matter of fact, don't really appear out of the ordinary. Just one of many adventure seekers or travelers or information hunters just walking into a bar in Brackenhall, the most dangerous city in the Dragon Empire.
Well, in good adventure fashion, I suppose we go to the bar. The barkeep.
Yes, Barkeep is a brutish fellow, a human, who has one eye and several fingers missing on both of his hands. He introduces himself as a Ragnar and asks what your poison is.
Well, just whatever he's got that doesn't dull the mind too much. Really.
He
So
laughs.
not gonna stay here all night. It's cold outside, so just a little something to warm the throat.
Sure, for a few coppers, he can slide you. Hell, for an entire gold piece, you just take the whole damn bottle of like a cheap booze.
Sure.
Not like a bottle, more like a bottle of cheap wine. There you go.
Oh, we'll share a bottle of cheap wine in the bar. And then here we'll heavily ask him, as he imagined people do all the time as he slides the gold piece over instead of a few copper. Ask if he knows anyone who knows a bit about the gang activity in the ruins.
He scoffs and says, "Oh, with the dozens, if not hundreds, of gangs operating out there in the ruins, I can't."
Ones.
Well,
Heard about one that would, try to turn people into scaly kinds.
frowns, scrutinizes you. Well, and he makes a useless comment. You didn't hear this from me.
Bud.
The Scarlet Serpents have their name going about. Gang that does that. One of the more powerful, if not the most powerful. Don't really have much in the way of enemies. They've thoroughly beaten down any of the other constabulary gangs who try to challenge them. It's said that they actually have the favor of the 3 themselves, that membership into the Scarlet Serpents is a gateway into membership into the Black Fang. He says, thoroughly expecting you to recognize the name Black Fang.
Alright then. Not a lot of enemies, huh?
They've certainly tried, and I imagine there's a lot of people with hostile intentions in their hearts for the Scarlet Serpents. The problem, however, is their power and their perceived favoritism. Everyone who's tried to go up against them has failed. As far as I'm aware, the constabularies take a white berth. Especially given that they're run by that Scarlet, who's able to shapeshift herself into looking just like me. You'd never be able to tell her. What a great spy that would be. You'd never know it was her. Till she had your knife at your throat. He shivers.
Sure. Right then, and We would go where to find them.
He, looks at you with a confused expression. Why would you want to find them? I just told you they're one of the most dangerous organizations in the entirety of Dragonhall. At least the ruins, that's for sure, which is certainly a distance from here. There's already enough trouble in the city.
Let's say we have a death wish. And this is the most fashionable way to deal with that.
Well, I don't. I probably have. He pulls out a somewhat similar looking copy of an overview of Dragonhall, but it has noticeable differences to the ones that you've seen. It appears that map consistency is not a thing when it comes to Dragonhall, and points to a neighborhood which is what was circled by the alchemist whenever she showed her map to you. As far as I'm aware, that's theirs, and all you do is just draw that out another few blocks, and that's probably the empty space where everyone gives them a berth. I'm sure you could find some goblins stupid enough to try, but anyone who's smart enough is going to stay away from them. That's assuming you could even get a goblin to befriend you at all. They don't much take kindly to sweets. He smiles a toothless smile.
You don't think anyone in here would dare?
I think you'd be fools to ask. You've already risked much speaking about this with me, right here. Looks to the left, looks to the right. I've risked much speaking about this to you, right here. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure I want to approach this topic anymore. You got your drink. You want anything else?
No, I think we'll just have our drink.
A second bottle for the trip.
I reckon so. He is rather eager to leave you folks alone. Conversation topic has made him uneasy, and he is certainly looking around every now and then to make sure that there's no one approaching him, ready to kill him or punish him for things he should not have said.
And if we ever need this guy to squeal, I can turn into a dragonkin and approach him. Well, then again, I probably wouldn't have. This probably isn't the bar where dragonkin need to bust humans around. I imagine there's some. Yeah.
It's,
this is the human place, right?
It's almost entirely a sweet clientele. Humans, dwarves, half-elves, elves, gnomes. That being said, I mean, there's a goblin or two that are laughing by the fireplace. But here, monstrous races are again the exception rather than the norm.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
You happy?
What do you think, Leon? Is there any more we need to find out before we prepare for how to smash this place up?
We can always speak to Gen Zero back at our place. He's probably still watching that.
We just want to have some people with us. I would really want rather to avoid getting a scaly tail for the rest of my life.
Equally so.
If I return to home with that, I mean...
Equally so, but not very few others are going to have as much, passion about this as you will.
I imagine there's a fair number of gangs foolish enough that they would want to eat us.
If they were that foolish, they wouldn't still be around.
Well,
They would have been squashed already.
I suppose it's our turn then. We should have bought that rust monster and sent it in there.
Remember, if we could take down a rust monster, so probably an entire gang would be able to as well. It would only be a distraction.
We need to strike the leader, though. Imagine that once she's gone, they'll have as much trouble fighting each other over the new leadership as they will us. I don't know how disciplined they are. They're a gang living in ruins. Can't be that bad.
Anyway, based on his reaction, we probably shouldn't keep speaking about it in here.
No, let's leave.
Take a spare bottle of wine from my bag.
It's a little unnerving, almost feeling like you're being watched as you step out of Sweet Hall, but you're not accosted. Oh, not Sweet Hall, but the rack.
Sure.
So what time of day is it?
Mid-afternoon. I don't know what time you left, but it's certainly been... You've certainly spent 4 or 5 hours, at least, walking around. It's gonna take about that long to get back to your base.
Yeah.
We probably should.
Walking distances here are very, very long. It's a vast city, and you folks, Hiram's Hall is on one end. You know, it's a
Yeah, it'd be nice to remove it at some point.
It's a perk. You folks chose an isolated location. If you had elected to, say, insert yourselves into where the Hallow Talons were, you'd be closer to all sorts of action.
People will be more interested in following us all the way. If someone's following us, they probably get tired after 4 hours of walking through the ruins. You know?
It's a matter of
And
dedication.
if not, then it might be a little bit sort of obvious.
Yes.
This guy's still walking behind us?
Of which Leon will be keeping an eye, just like, no one's following him, is there?
He turns left behind you down along the same abandoned street, like 17 streets later, like, you know. Wow, it's rather convenient that he keeps making the same turns.
There's no one on the rooftops.
Denver's,
There's no one like sitting on the rooftops watching us. Well, actually, there's always people in the ruins watching us, but
Yes, you,
I imagine not so many, like, in this weather.
No. It's, amusingly enough, despite the extreme cold that could kill you, probably the safest you've been here in Dragon Hall.
Jerome is feeling very determined to wreck these people's shit, because he feels better than he's felt in, like, a month.
what would be great if they went out on like a raid and then we could get them while they're on a raid, but
I don't even know what they do, but Jin Zero must have, like, we can assume that he has some intrigue. I mean, when we get back, actually, we can ask him.
Mm-hmm. Assuming we get back unaccosted.
You are able to make it back nightfall after the sun's gone, meaning that it's even colder. And the wind certainly has not stopped, which is robbing you of even more vitality. And true enough, managed to make it back. One piece. One frosted piece, but one piece all the same. Guards, can't really say are inside. They're sort of like watching from the door, like just inside, like sitting in the chairs. The only individual who would be outside is the, now his body chemistry must be different, and it must be awesome, would be a Jin Zeros, who is wrapped up in warmer clothes for him. But eyes that are able to see you coming, because as he'll explain, he can see just fine in the dark, and so can all Dragonkin.
Well, say we need a bit of his time if he doesn't mind.
Jin Zeros will, his gaze will slide towards you, and he'll say, I suppose I agreed to watch over here for the time, so I don't have anything better to do than speak with you.
Well, it seems that your old gang wanted us dead by association.
That is my assumption. It may be erroneous, but I try to trust my gut.
As they say, the best defense is a strong offense. So, if we were to strike at them, how do you think we would best do it? You know what they do, you know perhaps where they used to go, or who might be interested in helping us with this.
My recommendation, perhaps you had forgotten, was to disguise yourselves. I think a frontal assault would be foolhardy. I've contemplated it myself. It has been quite a number of months since I have been in the neighborhood. I stay far clear from it. But they are powerful, and they have only become increasingly so. I can't think of anyone who would help me take them on, because any of the friends I had are dead. Perhaps you could find some foolish enough mercenaries. Maybe if you could somehow disguise yourselves to fool some goblins. Rile up goblins or bugbears and get them to storm in there, but they'd be cut down. You saw how determined those individuals who found your location were. The Scarlet Serpents fight to the death.
And if their leader was defeated, would they then
shrugged.
scatter or continue?
She shrugs. I don't know. I've never considered the possibility that she could be killed.
Oh. Disguise ourselves then. We've heard rumors that the serpents would transform sweets such as ourselves into scaly kinds.
That is an accurate statement, and it is one of the reasons I am no longer with them.
It was suggested to us to try to go through this process in order to get close to them.
He tilts his head. Well, I suppose you could try. Problem being that Druid Boy, and taps his foot on the roof of the building, Druid Boy sticks out like a sore thumb. He'd have to unstick himself out.
That's not happening.
Well, I don't know what he can or can't do, but if it's not possible, then I would have to say that Druid Boy would be one of the ways that they found you. I'm certainly not easy to track, albeit not impossible. It would definitely be Druid Boy.
Yes, we'll have to drape him in some ragged clothes, shave his beard, some band around the eyes.
One look at his eyes would do it, and they would see him,
Goggles.
and they would...
Tinted goggles.
They are already suspicious of anyone who would dare to enter in their territory. One look at his eyes, they would put it together and attack. And for as powerful as you seem to be, I do not think you could survive a direct confrontation with the entire Scarlet Serpents. Particularly given their connections.
All we need is the leader. If she's gone, then the rest will, well, suffer.
If you could get Scarlet alone, I've barely seen her myself, and I was a member of the gang. Not that high-ranking, mind you. Yes, my suggestion would be subtlety, however you would manage that. Unless you think you can overpower a few dozen dragonkin and lizard folk,
At once.
while attempting to navigate yourselves through the numerous traps, I'm sure, of the primary hideout, wherever that might be within the neighborhood, as they do move.
Well, even so, if we were turned into these scaly beasts, as they would want to, how would that get us any further, closer to dealing with them?
Well, getting turned into that, which
would mean acceptance into the Scarlet Serpent, which would mean that you would have to pass the trials, which can vary depending on the mood of whoever is administering it. Could range from killings, to thefts, to espionage, to stripping naked and standing outside for an entire night in this weather. It could vary if all of you attempted to join at once. You could all receive different tasks.
And what sort of side effects would likely occur with this?
Well, stripping naked and standing outside in this weather for
The
an entire...
transformation.
I never transformed.
Have you seen the transformations done?
No.
Do you know who among the Scarlet Servants does it?
No. If I were a more important individual, I do not think I would have survived as long as I have. Even at my meager level of skill, they hunt me down.
It is possible that Scarlet is the only individual capable of administering the effects, and as such, before you were to be transformed, she might very well be present. Oh, one of her underlings. There's a, Calorel. Yes, that was her name.
Ah.
I call her underling as a bit of a spite. Underling is not the most appropriate. They're more like equals. But, in my heart, I like to sort her as that. Yes, she gives credence to the rumors that, and I don't know this for certain either, that membership into the Scarlet Serpent is one way you can join the Legions of the Black herself in the Black Fang.
Calorel.
Calorel, given her predilections, seemed to be an envoy. At least I thought that was the case. I like to refer to her as an underling, though given her rarity, she might just as well be an equal if not a superior to Scarlet.
Yes, and then when they were trying to administer this transformation would be a good time to strike, perhaps. But
Perhaps.
you might also have been disarmed.
Yes. Stripped of your clothes so you don't ruin them. I couldn't say. As I said, I have not been to the neighborhood in months. The Scarlet Serpents are known for relocating themselves within their territory, and they are very proficient at protecting themselves. Quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure. You would have to take a look for yourselves. Head to the neighborhood, scout and observe, hopefully not being spotted in the process. I will not risk heading back there. And disguise yourselves in some fashion, or follow the idea of attempting to join them. He shudders in revulsion.
I didn't like the prospect.
Or kick down the door. Folks, what do I know, right?
How many do you reckon there would be? 100?
No, not 100. There's... Well... You wouldn't encounter more than a few dozen. Given the extensive size and the reach of the Scarlet Serpents, not every member of the gang would be there at once. And not every one of them are proficient fighters like I am. You would first certainly be fighting probably maybe a dozen or so of the lizard folk, the rest of them being dragonkin. Could be more, could be less. I don't know the specifics. Considering how much manpower they're willing to waste on hunting me down, they might have bulked up considerably. Particularly if they have been transforming people into them.
That would depend on how many people we could manage to gather up.
And how many of them you think you could fight?
Having
20 perhaps.
having something else doing a frontal assault as a distraction would greatly increase our chances, but
Or best direct aid as we strike.
or direct aid, I suppose.
Fighting with more people on our side as well, even the numbers.
I'm sure there are individuals somewhere in Dragonhall who would be thrilled with the defeat of the Scarlet Serpents. But I couldn't name any names. And even if I did have names, you'd have to convince those names. And you are outside nobodies. And I don't know whether anyone would trust you. He shrugs, but what do I know? I joined them. So, not much. Why are you looking to risk yourselves to take down these Scarlet Serpents? I have to ask. If you're looking for evil, I'm sure you could, if you're looking for evil, I'm sure you could find a less secure one. Perhaps even outside of the city. The Scarlet Serpents are rather well entrenched. And if you're hoping to change Blue City, your efforts would be better spent elsewhere.
Well, we did come here for a reason. That reason is to find out some things about the Four. Something we know that Calarel is a part of. And so, as Calarel is a part of the Scarlet Serpents, it seems like a good place to begin. If nothing else, taking them down would send a message. Get us a little bit of attention, perhaps not too much, but enough that we would not be outside nobodies, in whatever form we chose to take claim for this attack, of course. Wouldn't be our real size form, so.
Certainly, if you managed to down the Scarlet Serpents, you would acquire quite the reputation and the ruins, and perhaps a bit beyond it as well, for better or worse. Probably both. Definitely both.
Yes. Fighting those who are easy or could be expected to be defeated will not really net us, well, anything but their defeat. And since we don't really need them defeated, not really a good place to start. Now, having mercenaries or other gangs or whatever else to aid us in manpower would certainly be preferable. But I suppose we'll have to find out who would be available for such a thing.
He shakes his head. The best I'd do is stand guard over here, like I offered. I'm not going there unless I have to.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. Oh, right. Take you to leave inside.
Okay.
Leon will seem thankful and immediately head towards the oven to make food.
Where you're sealed away from the wintry temperatures, back inside the space.
Yes.
Leon will prepare a minor feast for himself. And I guess Dwohurim needs
we
staying.
just need them to siege us. They'll freeze to death. We'll be fine. So now I think we have a couple of different options. I really don't want to go through like crazy rituals. That sounds like the worst idea in the world. It sounds like the easiest one, but also the one that just has complications written all over it. And Hurim is not really ready to deal with more transformatic, mutagenic things.
Also, we don't need to stand up any
ingested.
more than we don't need to stand up any
Yes.
more than we do with like tails.
So
So actually, listen.
even
In
more.
this,
We're looking for the
tail-
dwarf with 2 meter long rabbit ears. Like,
Actually, admittedly, in this city, something like a tail might actually blend in more. But
I don't know, not in a suite.
Anywhere else.
I can make myself look like other races for other races. Let's see.
you have utility spells.
Hide. I can hide as another person or race with generic features. I can't make it be a specific. Well, I can make it a specific person, but it's less effective. So I'd rather not do it.
The point is, you can hide yourself as someone who is not
I
recognizable.
can do it.
to
It
be
lasts for
that
an hour. It lasts for an hour.
dwarf. Okay, you can be recognizable as not that dwarf.
I can make myself look like an orc, which probably would be a very dumb idea, so I won't do that. But like a goblin. Well, I guess a goblin's not
That is
really
also a
my
dumb idea.
size. Maybe more like a bugbear or something.
I mean, is make yourself something who is not.
A gnoll, you know.
Make yourself someone who
dragonkin.
is not recognizable to be Dwohurim.
I certainly wouldn't make myself into a wizard dwarf. That pointless.
Like making yourself into
And,
like ranger dwarf at least. is
That
slightly
of
better.
course is something we can do. But you know, we could certainly. Another thing is, if we want to get in there, maybe they have a sewer access. But if they're moving a lot, I don't know that they would have a very well established place.
I mean, they potentially have a sewer access. We don't know our best. We don't really
We
know the
have
way
to
around
find
the
it
sewer.
somehow, but you know, it would be a way to let others in if one person had got into the place. So we wouldn't all have to go through transformations. We could only send Griff or
Griff can't. I don't know if Griff could be transformed. is
Thomas.
there?
Thomas would be perfect. He's a human. No.
He's the most normal out of all of us, so we'll send him in.
Yeah.
If she wants to be a dragon anyway, so
I know, right? This
Send
is
him for the
this is-
transformation into a dragonkin. And then you know, I can cure him later if he needs to. We'll assure him that it'll be perfect curing. And then
There
he'll
will be no tail.
unless he wants one. Then he can let us in through the us and whatever mercenaries we manage to acquire, and we can strike from the inside. Sort of a mix between the two, you know. We bypass the frontal defenses and hopefully strike closer to their heart. But to do that, we need a person on the inside. I could go in with my disguise, but I really kind of don't want to, because they're probably like passwords, and maybe I have to stay there for more than an hour. In which case, I would appear as a dwarf in the middle of everything, which probably wouldn't be great.
So I didn't know we had two people that could transform into sweets.
Yes, two. We need one. Both would be great because they're both bad people. Especially Calarel. Capturing her and cutting off her arms would be good.
You can go visit the beautiful alchemist again.
Bring her a couple of arms, legs, torso.
Only need like a dozen scales or so. That might be a bit much.
You know. If
I believe Malachi believes in the philosophy of no kill like overkill.
maybe a few scales for the cure, a whole sort of rest of a carcass as a gift from Leon.
Sounds
There's nothing as romantic as
sounds
a
like a stage of
as
courtship
a,
right
as a
there.
murdered body too.
I know we're settling down here, but I don't think we're settling down this much.
Women definitely do like providers. It's true.
Yeah,
I don't think we're
you
setting down
provide
this
her with
much.
alchemical reagents and a few extra organs that she can put on ice if she needs them. You know, I'm sure there's an organ market here.
This is your option to branch off into the romance side quest.
Yeah. Think of the experience we would get.
Oh, you would experience, alright.
I don't know how I feel about this.
It'll be okay, Leon.
Look,
Live a little.
I've handled quite a lot of mature roleplay in my day. I'm capable of it. The question is, are
Sure
you
you are.
capable of it?
You can probably wing a few things with dice rolls.
If need be,
Terrible.
we'll consult the Rift's core rulebook for information on how to handle things.
Don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you two are looking to handle any more roleplay between each other, now would definitely be
No,
the time to
I
do
think
so.
I'll let the others have their go, and then at some point, tomorrow maybe, or tonight, they'll try to get Sheep and then convince the others to attack this place. Somehow. We convince them that that's important. Because it is.
You could tell them the truth.
It feels like a little bit
That
of
would not. That would make them be like, no, you deserve to be punished.
The truth will set you free.
But Manica, you
No,
have a
we
plus
just need
5
to lie
bonus.
for a little longer.
Manica, you have a
little
plus 5
longer.
bonus. You'll be fine.
Shut your mouth, Leon. You'll fail that roll. You know it.
I probably will.
Now, statistically, we'll be like,
Statistically,
we'll have-
you're likely
I've
to
a-
succeed now. You're more likely than not to succeed.
but I probably need more than one roll.
At stage 2, yeah, you need more than one roll.
So
I understand I only need an 8, but the point still stands. With my luck, I'll get a 6.
going to find these scales somehow. Also, we want to help the nice Archmage lady, right? Maybe we can roll a 6 and she'd be like, I found some on my own I had hidden away. I'm like, oh, that was fucking lovely.
That your meeting with her consumed Dark's Archmage 6 that he rolled at the end of last session.
See, but shame to let it go to waste. She even liked you a lot because of the Archmage thing. She didn't even know who I was. Hmm.
That does explain why. That does explain why she took such an affection.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Maybe she knows something about what and who you are.
Oh,
That sounds really hopeful.
that does sound hopeful. And unfortunately, though, it would give Leon a reason to hang around her more, which is oh god.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe we need to deal with this first.
Maybe this is what Leon needs to shake the cobwebs and forge a new path of destiny.
A new path of destiny, yes.
We saw him in one
fuck
painting
the
with-
cobwebs out of his mind, man. Come on.
So we saw him with the cobwebs in the Celia Melkor's home, so... I mean...
That wasn't me!
Right. You have done worse than this alchemist lady. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
I have not dated a lich.
A leech?
A lich, I said, not a leech.
You saw how pretty Ursilia Melkor was. Calling her a lich, that's just rude.
I mean, a lich is probably accurate.
If she was around here, he would kick in her door and murder her. But, it would certainly try.
But she might have the cure.
He has learned one thing. That is that magic... that's also what his old teacher of the Shapers said, that magic is kind of like... it's kind of like a child. You need to nurture it, make it grow, but if you're really frustrated, sometimes just brute force works.
That's assuming you can. You'll recall how Rav expressed how he could not lift a finger to oppose Ursilia Melkor.
Also, he seems to be in town.
Or was in town, at least.
Yeah. It'd be great to meet him again. Be like, hey, Rav, so help us kill these fuckers and get rid of this thing once and for all? You kind of consumed the last of those skills she had. So...
But I'm wondering how she got the skills in the first place.
Maybe there's one of the Dragonborn that lives from selling them.
Would you like some of my scales?
I bet
Well,
they change
you know,
scales sometimes.
I mean, it's like you could sell yourself as like a blood doll to a vampire, and they would pay you money to drink your blood. So it's certainly not impossible for a dragonborn with incredibly rare scales selling them as magical reagent here.
If you drop them anyway, right? Might as well get paid for it.
Right. And, like, there's even more value associated with the scales of a dragonkin freely given.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's the magic. Which I hope it's not. What? You cut the arms off? No, that would never work. Damn it.
Well, we got them for free, so they're freely given.
From us, that is. To you.
Merry Christmas. So, see, not so bad. You guys were all so worried about coming into this little downtime thing, I'm sure, especially when I hosted the server.
I was major skeptical.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Except for the icy winter and the impending truck problems.
For a second, I was almost considered like, I guess I could technically use my firebolt spell, which I never use, and make a ritual fire.
Yes, except for the fact that it's colder than it's ever been around the Midland Sea in your entire lives, as far back as you can recall in recent history. Not that you're exactly historians, either of your characters. That's
we're not.
Yeah, it's just just an abnormal thing. Not a big deal. Happens. Ebbs and flows of magic, I'm sure.
There is nothing bad going on at all.
Totally isn't foreshadowing that's been spread across the entire campaign.
It's because of me. And I've been more and more pissed since we met, and and that is affecting the global currents of weather and magic.
Is there weather disconnaissance?
I'll admit it. We have to. We simply have to deal with my problems, or apparently the world's going to end. So
it's empathic weather. This is
he is creating weather. The angrier he gets,
the worse the weather will be.
What's your one unique thing? Is I cause empathic weather.
Yes. So the whole campaign premise is set up on Huron being more and more annoyed and pissed over time.
This explains a lot of things, actually.
So we need to solve these problems that he has. Okay, that's the first priority: solve Huron's problems.
It could actually explain something.
No, it could. It's like a horoscope.
It fits me perfectly. Right. So now we have a little bit of a relent. Now we have to use this little window of unoppressiveness to actually acquire what we need.
I mean, for me, it wasn't that bad. For you, I mean, yes, you were getting crippled, but could have been worse.
Should have brought Tempest.
That sounds very smug. I mean, maybe you shouldn't have participated then, Dark.
You're tempting fate here.
If you weren't that concerned about
it. I totally know I'm tempting fate, and I'm sure fate's going to bite me for it.
I hope so. I hope you die from it.
Well, new character.
Someone to find whatever it is that is inside me. I've injected into you while you sleep.
That would just be rude.
You would never know. I would know, and I would live with it all my life.
And he would die laughing on his deathbed.
I fall all the way to the blood bank. I need to get rid of this shit. I have to burn down the city to do so.
We're not burning down a city. We're not evil.
You can
I
just
was
go back
thinking
to
that it was like
Froghaven.
you have to take the fresh organs of an orphan or something like that. I was like, yeah, all right. This is just difficult. At least it could have been like morally wrong.
You thought I would throw in like a cheap morality ploy in there to fuck with you?
I would have taken that deal in a hot.
I would have tried stopping you.
I'm about to Alfred Dazak
I could have blamed the
motherfucker.
condition.
You're not blaming your condition. I'm stopping you.
You can't watch me all the time. There's plenty of people who don't need their organs.
Just so long as Thomas and Fergus don't find out.
Lots of people who wouldn't be missed.
You don't want
Yes, loads of people that wouldn't be missed. One dwarf might be one of them.
You don't watch out, you might find yourselves in a Forsaken Throne situation where the other characters simply can't trust you.
They don't, though. I don't think.
I mean, there's nothing. Dwohurim hasn't done anything that bad yet.
No. because I never get the chance to do so with recent profit. Evil doesn't pay. Yeah. Tempest is a terrible person himself. Dr. Herman, he was like, I'm actually pro-slavery. Like, oh, okay. Cool.
You know,
I like owning people.
it is his philosophy in life.
Which is sad.
I would have thought you wouldn't like that, Tempest,
Yes.
because, you've kind of felt that on your own body. Well, fuck him. They deserve to feel it.
Considering his whole struggle against the dwarves and all.
Super hypocrite. He's like, I would loot the tomb of a saint if it got me, a sandwich. It's like, alright. If I need rents and
why would
deeds,
you
I'll
do
go
it
to
for a
you.
sandwich? Why would you do it for a sandwich he doesn't eat?
I just want stuff, right?
Yes, it's not the consumption, it's the act.
It's having something.
He's in it for the fruit.
He just wants stuff. And people is stuff to him. So. He doesn't call them friends, he calls them slaves. He wants them to call him master. It's gonna be really awkward. He's like, oh yes, Hurim, Leon, Fargus, and oh, great Master Tempest.
Lord of all he surveys.
Please show your mercy upon us.
His Grace, Lord Tempest, Duke of the Western Lowlands.
And we go like, Tempest is really necessary. It's like, I love owning people. Alright, so how about we kill some gang people, Tempest? You can take their stuff. Their organs, think about that. You can have a real heart. Own that too.
You like Wizard of Oz him?
Can I use my thief strike on?
I steal his brain. I think it would be a difficult check. Alright, well now we at least have something to go for. And a direction to bring people in. We have a goal. To kill one of these two people in a fashion that allows us, half a minute of access to their body.
Sounds vaguely creepy.
Yes, it
We
does.
do want to harvest their skin, so I mean that is kind of
Creep factor not not diminishing.
I just want parts of your body I can consume
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I think Dwohurim needs to talk. It's very, very creepy.
I mean, it would be correct to say that a representative of the Archmage wants these body parts. Scales.
Maybe you could just ask.
I don't think that would be.
Would you be willing to sell us your scales?
I mean, why not have it be a business proposition, a transaction?
We have money.
There, fucking sneak in the sewer, and stand there, throwing off all the cloaks and battle ready. We would like to buy some scales.
We have money.
No, we're like, oh well, guess we'll have to try somewhere else.
It doesn't have to come to violence. I know how bloodthirsty this party is.
You have to think about Calarel. It didn't have to come to violence, but it did. And it wasn't even us. She attacked us while we were dealing with weird hat things. Why? I beats me.
Well, she doesn't have to know it's you, assuming you encounter her.
We really should ask for someone who knows where dragon lairs are. And they'd be like, well, Calarel knows. Can we have a meeting with her? Yes, she hangs out at this tavern. We go to the tavern so I can blow her up. Like, you, Calarel? She's like, that's what I'm called. So you looking for dragons? Like, yeah, we heard you're the best. He's like, that's true. And then, pow! Force salvo everyone in that tavern. Yeah.
If you force salvo everyone, we may eliminate
I mean, it's
you.
probably a bad per people tavern.
You can't just guess that evil blow everyone up. This is not how it works.
Looking for dragon lairs is just gonna get you pointed to the Tower of the Blue. Come on.
There's one at the top of the one. How about smaller dragon lairs?
We point at silver.
Dragon lairs around the Newport area.
The Newport area.
We're in the wrong place.
That
Yes.
sounds suspicious.
It's incredibly hyper-specific and not near here.
To some degree, we could go into a longer sort of just strike the. We could do hidden run tactics against them.
I mean, if we do hit and run, what they're going to do is they're going to hit right back.
That then suddenly they don't have their traps and fortifications and such.
Suppose.
It's not like they can break a hole through the wall of this place.
They can try. They won't succeed, but they can try.
It's only a stone wall.
Yeah.
Like, it's not made out of adamantine.
We'll let them in, and then we'll take them in the gauntlet in there.
What gauntlet?
I mean, we surround the door, right? We stab everyone who come through.
This is not a gauntlet. This is called, they open the doors, get the first 2 people killed, and they just shoot us with arrows.
I gotta stand right there.
Then your plan doesn't work anymore, because you just like...
Killed whatever they sent last time. They will come again. We'll kill them again. We'll keep killing them until they run out of manpower. And
They'll send a larger...
Whatever they can.
What if they lay siege to the building?
Yeah, if we cause this much trouble, they're going to
We have enough supplies for 26 days.
Then we'll go outside through the underground and blast them from behind, and then disappear back into the sewers.
It'd be just our luck though that while we're going around, they decide they go to assault the siege.
I would use my door lock thing, so only champion creatures could come through. And if they have those, I suppose, then that's a problem. But
I mean, their leader, perhaps.
She might be.
I mean,
we
she
should really
sounds
find the
pretty
Ravinger
awesome.
and be like, so Ravinger, that favor you owe us, could we?
We're cashing in the favor now.
How about that? Would that be cool? Yeah. I'd love to have him around. He's great.
You would, but memory serves not everyone so enjoyed, the Whispering Ravinger.
I mean, he all did it. He was mind controlled, kinda.
No. He was not mind controlled.
He was kind of mind controlled.
Not mind control.
You don't know what it's like, Leon.
Actually?
You don't know how it's like when it's this bad.
No, I don't know how it's that bad, but I do.
You don't dream of screaming lich faces all night. And,
that I can understand. Sorry. I need something worse than that because I mean that doesn't sound actually that bad.
She also never gave us any orders, so we don't really know. I mean, what the effects of that would be. I don't really intend to go back there and sort of ask for orders.
And then of course the alchemist, and they're mentioning like the Marquis of Secrets. It's like, oh god.
Who is that? I have no idea.
Apparently a lich count. Which is just great because liches.
Well,
I'd like to have some familiarity with the name.
Dark would have some familiarity with the name. Not the full title, but certainly
Now I know the title.
Yes, now you know the full title.
Yeah, someone we need to deal with.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I fucking don't know who it is.
And it's going to stay that way.
It's alright, sure, but it's mysterious.
I don't think Dark is the one who gets to make that call.
Well, I can choose not to tell them.
That is certainly a choice you can make.
You can choose to drop it on the party, which is true.
I can choose to create situations which have you confront the situation.
Yes, you can totally do that.
Yeah, with one opponent at a time, we'll kill these people.
Yeah, I'm not in too much good of a mood for fighting a leech.
Better mood for fighting an epic champion dragonkin.
Yes.
Good. Then we're in business.
You know, technically I get
Gunpowder isn't a thing, is it?
Gunpowder? No.
God damn it! Then I knew what we could use that sewer access for.
Like, it's an experimental thing at best. Like, you remember those dwarves? The bounty
Yeah.
hunters? It's
Yeah.
pretty much a,
If I wanted 6 barrels of it to stuff up a sewer
We're in
pipe.
the wrong place, I think.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong place, yes.
Explosives in general.
Like, Dwohurim decided that he wanted to devote himself to pursuit of magic.
Yeah, man, I should have been making bombs all my life. Think of how many places we could just have planted a bomb and left. Ravenger's mansion, we just put a bomb on the wall and leave.
I mean, that probably wouldn't take down the whole place as part of it.
Right. Well, we like fucking throw it in the door, something like that.
Yeah, you can make your own door so that Sheik doesn't have to be so damn pissed about the waterfront being so close to the entrance.
But
We could.
but you know, we needed to see that side of him.
Should I mail call? We go down into crypt. We just put a bomb there and leave.
I mentioned that to him this morning, and he went off on it again. It was great. Like, there's not even enough room for a road there.
Yes.
He's so picky.
But he liked the grass.
This is true.
Anything else for me pertaining to the campaign?
No, some questions that I know the answer would be no to, so there's no point in asking them.
The answer would be no, but I don't like to tell my players no.
You tell us no anyway.
Just say
Mainly
pertaining to.
because our ideas are over the top or stupid. So.
That's stupid. It's just stretching what I've been told to the limit.
And I said over the top or stupid.
Like, for example, could Shumer think that he could sort of manipulate when the thing is repaired, this place is repaired, that he could manipulate the rooms while someone was in the place but not in the room manipulated? Like, say, Leon was sitting in the kitchen. Could he move away the forge to another place?
The document specifically says that none of the rooms can be moved if anyone is within the building unless they're in the master module.
Right.
The device is either unable or unwilling to perform that.
Just like teleport all the invaders into the darkness of the void. Where are they? Somewhere. Mm-hmm. At some point, just pop out. Yeah.
Okay, I have no more questions, so I will be taking my leave.
How do we talk sheep into becoming a lizardman?
I'm not going to try convincing you. I'm completely opposed to it.
What? Well, how do you suggest we do this then?
I don't know, but I don't want anyone to do Lizardman.
What's old name? All this saying no to everything without having any better suggestions.
I mean, you can try talking him into it, but I'm not going to.
Well, that's fine. Go and be smug somewhere else.
Yeah, Dark, just fucking leave then. Go do whatever you do with your life.
Okay, bye.
Smug son of a bitch.